Australia Day this weekend, looking forward to it. You know why I love this moment. Because it is a celebration of modern Australia with all of its ups and downs, but certainly all of its protections, freedoms and joy. I love that Australia Day is the day when literally thousands of people join the country and join the greatest club in the world that so many of us were lucky enough to be born in. And they commit to the country and they have a passion for the country, and many of the local councils who represent those people are more openly passionate about the day than people who did not have to go through many of the tortures that those people did to enjoy membership of the greatest club in the world, Australia. But we know there'll be plenty of other people that'll be out and about saying that the day must never happen because of the sins of the past. Reality, of course, is that there is no date they wish to change it to. They just do not want a recognition of modern Australia. Instead, thanks for all of the modernity. Now, please hand the keys over. To who? I don't know. For how much? I don't know. But I can't go without noticing here that, as you will have noticed over the past 24 hours, there is more plans for more protests. And particularly Melbourne, that loves a protest, is apparently going to have one of its biggest invasions, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, that organisers say we won't disrupt the Australian Open, but there seems to be some suggestion there'll be plenty of people that'll be willing to cause some trouble on the day. And generally speaking, I do not want to sullen this lead up to Australia Day by talking about these people, but I do want to talk about Jacinta Allan. Jacinta Allan is, of course, the Premier of Victoria. And today, she's trying to sing from the song sheet that the majority of Australians, the majority of Melburnians, the majority of Victorians are, which is, respect on the day, please, pull your head in, don't cause any trouble. Here's what she says.
There is a difference of opinion. Everyone can have their own opinion, their own difference of views. But we must have respect for those differences of opinion.
Again, the stones on these people. Now, this government, her government, the Andrews government, of course, that she was part of, but her government and her as Premier has presided over, firstly for COVID and secondly for COVID, and then eventually they decided to end the Australia Day parade in Victoria, in the middle of Melbourne. One of the key events that people like to turn up to celebrate the country and wave the flag that people have fought under and millions of people have looked to as they become citizens of this country. But that parade is cancelled. Cancelled by this government. Oh, there's a difference of opinion and we respect... No, we know what your decision is, which is you don't back the day. You don't think that there should be a rallying of people to celebrate the day for a parade. And it's not because Melbourne doesn't like parades. Remember, this is also the government who doesn't just support the horses being paraded ahead of the Melbourne Cup, but declared a public holiday so people could go and watch said parades. These people, again, I don't mind the people that we fiercely disagree with because at least they are consistent. But the people now trying to appeal and say, hey, calm it down, are the ones who have added fuel to the fire by removing the prominence of, yes, more recent traditions. But guess how a long tradition becomes a long tradition? It needs to start somewhere. And in the case of a national day, a national anthem, a national border, a national flag, yeah, it's got a start date. But when you decide to turn off the tradition because you feel uncomfortable with the celebration of that tradition, yet you're completely okay with other traditions because they are less controversial to you, well then I'm sorry, no one is listening to you. The protesters won't be listening to her because the soft message has gone out overtly from the Victorian government for years. Also, excellent piece that was written today by our friend Anthony Dillon. Now, Anthony is an Indigenous leader, a significant thinker, and someone from the Australian Catholic University, and he wrote today, don't protest the day, go and fix the problems. Quote, jumping up and down about the date consumes time and energy and changes nothing, only distracting from the more serious problems facing Indigenous Australia today. Would your deceased ancestors want you mourning for them or the thousands of Indigenous Australians who live in unsafe, unclean living conditions, don't know where their next meal is coming from, and will die an early yet preventable death? Well said, sir.